What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the wacky, wild, and totally WTF world of military experiments gone wrong. From pigeon-guided bombs to camel cavalry, these ideas were as bold as they were bizarre. Seriously, who comes up with this stuff? We're talking about some next-level, outside-the-box thinking here, so buckle up, grab your snacks, and get ready to be amazed because some of these stories are straight-up bonkers. Let's jump into how they were supposed to work and why they ultimately failed. Picture this. World War II, a time of global conflict, innovation, and desperation. Nations were scrambling to outdo each other with cutting-edge technology. Amidst this chaos, an unusual idea took flight. What's the secret weapon? Pigeons. Yes, those humble feathered creatures you see in parks were once considered potential saviors of the war effort. Enter Project Pigeon, later renamed Project Orcon. This was the brainchild of B.F. Skinner, a renowned behaviorist who believed that even pigeons could be trained to serve a higher purpose. Skinner envisioned a world where pigeons could guide bombs with pinpoint accuracy. Skinner's method was ingenious. He trained pigeons to peck at a screen displaying a target. The idea was that their pecking would adjust the bomb's trajectory mid-flight. It was a bizarre concept, but in controlled simulations, it actually worked. The pigeons were surprisingly accurate, proving that even the most unassuming creatures could be turned into tools of war. Believe it or not, these feathered navigators hit their marks in simulations with remarkable precision. It was as if they were born to be tiny winged pilots. These pigeons were hitting targets like feathered Top Guns, earning them a reputation as unlikely heroes in the making. The military was intrigued and poured millions into the project, hoping to turn this quirky idea into a wartime game-changer. They even designed a special missile called the Pellet, specifically built to house these avian navigators. It seemed like the sky was the limit for Project Orcon. But here's the catch. Pigeons are, well, pigeons. Despite their training, they were still easily distracted. Clouds, other birds, or even a stray crumb could throw them off course. In real-world scenarios, their focus wavered. Instead of guiding bombs to their targets, they sometimes veered off, chasing after things that had nothing to do with the mission. The military, understandably, wasn't thrilled about bombs being led astray by bird brains. The stakes were too high, and the risks too great. After numerous failed tests and too many near misses, Project Orcon was ultimately scrapped. The dream of pigeon-guided bombs was grounded for good. So, the next time you see a pigeon strutting around, remember, it could have been a weapon of mass destruction. Instead, it's just another bird, blissfully unaware of its almost heroic past. Hold your horses, or camels, because this next one involves the Mehariste camel corps. In the 19th century, the French thought camels could help them conquer Algeria. Camels were perfect for the desert. They could go days without water, live off scraps, and navigate sandy terrain. For a while, it worked. Camels were intimidating and efficient, but camels are stubborn. Unlike horses, they don't follow orders easily. Soldiers often found themselves stranded when camels refused to move. And the smell? Hundreds of camels together created a stench that could make even the toughest soldier gag. The final blow? Technology. With the invention of jeeps, camels were quickly replaced. The camel corps seemed like a good idea at the time, but it eventually went the way of the dodo. This one's straight out of a horror movie, Bat Bombs. During World War II, a dentist named Little Adams proposed strapping tiny incendiary devices to bats. The idea? Release bats over enemy territory, where they'd roost in flammable structures and ignite chaos. The military, intrigued, gave the project the green light. They even brought in a bat expert to help. Millions of dollars were spent, and a special bomb casing was designed to release bats midair. It was a plan so crazy, it just might have worked, except for one tiny flaw. Bats are unpredictable. During a test, the bat bombs accidentally ignited a hangar, nearly destroying the airbase. After that fiery fiasco, the project was scrapped. The bats? They probably went back to doing what they do best, sleeping upside down and scaring people. Let's talk about a military experiment that's truly ice cold. Project Habakkuk. A plan so ambitious, it sounds like something out of a science fiction novel. But this was no fiction. It was a real attempt to change the course of history. During World War II, British inventor Geoffrey Pike proposed building aircraft carriers out of ice. Yes, ice. Pike believed this unconventional material could solve a critical wartime problem, the lack of durable, unsinkable aircraft carriers. Ice is strong, plentiful, and if it melts, you can just make more, right? It seemed like the perfect solution, especially in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic, where traditional materials struggled to endure. The plan involved a special ice-wood pulp mixture called pykrete, which was stronger than concrete and could even withstand bullets. It was a material ahead of its time, combining nature and engineering in a way that seemed almost magical. To keep this icy behemoth from melting, engineers designed elaborate refrigeration systems. These systems would run continuously, ensuring the structure remained solid even in warmer conditions. Imagine a massive floating fortress of ice, launching planes and striking fear into enemies. It was a vision of innovation and power, a game-changer in naval warfare. But building something this massive out of ice was no easy feat. The logistics were staggering, requiring immense planning, engineering, and resources. It required resources and manpower the war couldn't spare. With the world already stretched thin by conflict, dedicating so much to a single project was a monumental challenge. And even with insulation and reinforcement, the prototype kept melting. The very material that was supposed to be the solution became the project's Achilles heel. After millions of dollars and countless hours, the project was deemed impractical and scrapped. The dream of an unsinkable ice carrier was just that, a dream. The dream of an icy fleet melted away faster than a popsicle on a summer day. But Project Habakkuk remains a fascinating chapter in history, a testament to human creativity and the lengths we'll go to solve the unsolvable. Buckle up for this one! The gay bomb! Yes, you heard that right. This is not a plot from a satirical movie or a wild internet conspiracy. It's a real concept that was seriously considered by the U.S. military. In the 1990s, the U.S. Air Force was brainstorming unconventional, non-lethal ways to incapacitate enemy forces. The idea was to think outside the box, far outside the box, and come up with solutions that could neutralize threats without causing mass casualties. One of the more, let's say, creative ideas was a chemical weapon designed to disrupt enemy cohesion. The concept? A substance that would make enemy soldiers irresistibly attracted to one another. The hope was that this would lead to chaos and distraction on the battlefield. The theory was simple. Distracted soldiers wouldn't be able to focus on combat. Instead of fighting, they'd be too preoccupied with each other to pose a threat. It was a bizarre twist on the idea of all's fair in love and war. The Air Force even went as far as requesting $7.5 million to develop this so-called love potion. That's right. Millions of taxpayer dollars were proposed for a weapon that sounds more like a prank than a serious military strategy. The plan was to deploy this chemical weapon by dropping it over enemy camps. The vision? A battlefield transformed into a surreal scene of camaraderie and affection. But, as you might expect, there were some major hurdles. First and foremost, there was no scientific guarantee that such a chemical would even work. The idea was purely speculative, and the logistics of creating such a substance were riddled with challenges. Then came the question of unintended consequences. What if the chemical spread beyond the battlefield? Could it affect civilians in nearby areas? The potential for collateral damage was enormous, and let's not forget the ethical dilemmas. The idea of manipulating people's sexual orientation, even in the name of warfare, raised serious moral questions. It was a line that many believed should never be crossed. The LGBTQ+ community and human rights advocates would have undoubtedly condemned such a weapon. The very premise of the gay bomb was not only absurd but also deeply offensive to many. Ultimately, the gay bomb never made it past the proposal stage. It remains a bizarre footnote in military history, a strange reminder of how the line between ingenuity and absurdity can sometimes blur in the quest for innovation. And there you have it, 5 of the most bizarre military experiments in history. We had pigeons playing pilot, camels charging into battle, bats turned bombers, ice ships defying nature, and love bombs. Well, being love bombs. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more crazy stories from history. We've got a whole lot more mind-blowing tales up our sleeve, so stay tuned. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and don't even think about strapping explosives to any pigeons.